What was your "we're done" moment with a friend? She got mad when I was faithful to my girlfriend and turned her down. So she tried to torpedo my relationship. What did she do? And did you tell her from the get-go that you guys could only be friends and nothing more? She tried to convince my girlfriend that I was trying to get back together with my ex-girlfriend. Which wasn't true. It was not a good plan. I thought that was pretty clear and assumed from the fact that I was in a committed relationship. But apparently some people need that spelled out for them. When he died, my grandmother had just passed away, and I was really upset about it. She told me that people die. That's how life works. Then proceeded to complain to me for 15 minutes about how upset she was that her mom stole $20 from her to get some weed. What an asshole. After my grandfather died, she said, "Oh, I know what you mean. I felt the same after my dog died. I love dogs, but seriously?" Sounds like she was just trying to sympathize with you and let you know she knows how it feels to have a loved one, human or not, pass. Since I haven't had a close family member die yet, I imagine it's a lot like the pain and emptiness I felt after losing a pet. As long as she wasn't trying to be rude, condescending about it. There's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I know how it feels to lose a loved one and I'm here for you." After about 6 months of me saying, "Hey, do you want to do such and such with me?" and her saying, "No," I said, "Screw it. I'm wasting my time with you." This gives me chills. I am a huge introvert, so I like having friends, yet I don't really want to go out. I've had this happen a lot. I understand your side of it, but it still stings every single time. Are you able to at least throw Em a bone once in a while? I was once invited to a laser tag birthday party and one of the guests was very introverted. He hung out and chatted while we waited for everyone to show up, and then once we were about to go inside and get started, he said goodbye, "Happy birthday," and dipped. I'm an introvert with about 2 hours of social interaction in the tank on any given night. So I understood the concept. And it was clear this guy was past his limit already after about 10 minutes. I respected the shit out of that move. That is such a swell thing to do. I went on a mini vacation with my friend Ken, Bill, Ken's boyfriend, and Ross, a friend of Bill that I was meeting for the first time. At first things were great, but towards the end of the vacation, Ken and Bill got into an argument. Ross and I were uncomfortable with the situation, so we went out to check out the bars downtown. Just after we had finally found a place to park, Ross got a call from Bill. We immediately go back as their fight turned physical with Ken beating on Bill. That was it. Vacation over. Ross and I packed up our things and left with Bill to take the 12 hours drive home immediately. Ken saw that I was taking Bill's side, so he starts to taunt me, "What do you know about love? You've never had a boyfriend." I had told him that it bothers me was that no one seems to want me. I have never found anyone that has wanted to date me. He knew where to place the knife and twist it. We left him there. Ken hasn't had another boyfriend since. He has lost his job and is technically homeless as far as I know. Ross moved away down south. Last I heard he was doing well. Bill found another man. They recently got married. I see him every now and then. He has settled in domestic life and is happy. Well, you knew that beating up your partner isn't love, so I think you're at least a step ahead of your ex-friend there. When she made fun of my husband to his face, it was when he and I first started dating, and she just straight up said, "What the fuck is wrong with your nose?" Quote, "For the record, there is nothing wrong with his nose. It's just a curved nose like IDK. Vincent Castle's." It was pretty rich coming from her. Regardless, I stopped talking to her at all after that. Total bitch move. Same here. I stopped talking to a friend because she always had a snide comment about my then fiancé. He's a shorter guy and obviously he has known this his whole life. I really don't think he needed to be reminded. She had made comments for years while we dated, and I always kind of let it slide because I didn't want to make it bigger than it was or make my man feel emasculated if I were to stand up for Hi monsieur, he's a very mature man and doesn't let much get to him, but I didn't want to make him feel even worse. Anyway, one day I snapped after she greeted me with a hug and patted him on the head like a child. I went full bitch. This was after she cried to me about me not asking her to be my bridesmaid. Sorry, but if you don't respect my almost husband, you don't respect me. I never spoke badly about her husband, and I would never do it, especially about something like his appearance. I am now married and I'm so happy I didn't ask her to be in my wedding. In fact, that was the end of that friendship, when he decided an out-of-town party was more important than staying home with his dog that was dying. Oh, that sad poor dog. Used my house as a middle point so he could come into town and fuck around on his wife. Also a friend of mine. When it all blew up, he was unaware I knew what was going on, and he fed me a bunch of shit that wasn't true in attempts to convince me he was somehow the victim, monsieur. So that was that. Her boyfriend at the time raped me. When I told her, she said, "So he's cheating on me?" Quote, ... She continued to defend him on a goodbye. What a dumb fucking bitch. When I found out he fucked my whore of a wife in the Pizza Hut bathroom, monsieur, this was nearly 30 years ago, and I never spoke to him since. Until the other day, I was at a convenience store and he walked in and tried to make conversation. Like we were long-lost buddies. I never gray-rocked anyone so hard. Gray-rocked. Goes unemotional. Uninterested. Not answering. Tries to become boring. To get the other person to lose interest and leave them alone. Kinda try to be like a gray rock. I went over to her house while she was wigging out on crack while wearing a shirt she stole from me, that she majorly denied the week before. Left within 5 minutes and haven't spoken to her junkie ass since. I would have taken the shirt back. We were friends for 8 years. Neighbors for 3. After we both moved, we wound up in different countries for a while. Still talked weekly. Then I wound up 5 hours away from her. I would drive to see her at least every 3-4 months on my way to take my daughter to her dad's. Even though she was an hour out of my way. Loaned her money to keep her water on. Never saw the money again. Also never asked for it, cause if I didn't have it to lose, I wouldn't have given it in the first place. Paid for everything when we went out. She gets a new boyfriend and they drive to my city for a vacation. Tells me she's there. She's 2 miles away in a hotel. I invite her over, she says no because boyfriend doesn't want to. I offer to meet her for lunch at the mall, she says can't because she missed the shuttle and the 10-min 2-block walk to the mall is too far. I just finally said screw it, told her she was a crappy friend and haven't spoken to her since. It sucks. I miss her, but I have better friends that deserve my attention and time. Anytime we'd hang out, she would say some stupid shit that would make me look at her sideways. Then, one day she said something to me so rude, under the guise of being funny, and then I snapped on her. That was the last interaction between us years ago. Everyone kept pleading for me to reach out and mend things. But I didn't do anything wrong. So, you gotta tell us what she said. My mind is running laps. When she put our apartment online for rent without telling me, leaving me homeless. When she complained that I was ruining her New Year's Eve after a drunk guy assaulted me and hit me with a bar stool and I wanted to go home. I've been in similar situations. That's the norm for people like that. I got left at a big event that was a 4-hour drive from my house by the guy who brought me there. I told his friends and they told me that I was probably bumming him out. To those types of people, their party has to go on at all cost. If you aren't having fun, then fuck you. We were building a big structure in Minecraft and we had just done the final touches. I think I see where this is going. No, he didn't blow it up, nor did I said, I think, we're finished. This dude, I'll keep it concise. He threw a house party. He then convinced everybody to play drinking games and get extremely drunk. He even convinced the dedicated drivers, one of whom was me, to also get drunk by saying everyone can crash at his place so no one needs to drive home and everyone can get drunk. He later threw a tantrum because everyone was drunk and he didn't want his house full of drunk people. He then threw everybody out in the middle of the night and just shut the door. He did this twice within 1 year. The second time was the famous "we're done" moment. Not only for me but for a good handful of people. There was a second time? Ew. She decided to kill her current horse instead of trying to sell him or give him away. She thought he was dangerous, when really she was just a wuss and he didn't want to jump. She had a new horse coming and needed the stall. Done. I can't be friends with a person who treats animals as disposable. Especially horses. A herd animal that trusts is enough to let us strap a saddle onto them and ride them around. Don't be a shit human. Well, depending on how tomorrow goes when she went to jail. I'm intrigued. What situation sees you be supportive of your friend on the condition that they're not _convicted _? I mean, you're not done with her whilst she's on trial, I'm assuming. So color me interested. I've dropped the rope with 2 friends who are siblings. The brother likes to make jokes that involve hurting me. He threw a hard sweet at my head, like a gobstopper, and my now fiancé told him off. He threw another one at my face and hit my eye. I was crying in pain and he got upset that my fiancé yelled at him to cut it out. It took seeing someone else defend me to realize how crappy it was that my friend liked to cause me physical pain. His sister got into a relationship a little before I got together with my fiancé. She keeps trying to find issues in my relationship that aren't there. Her family were slow to warm up to her boyfriend, while my parents loved my fiancé from the get-go. She kept trying to convince me my parents wouldn't accept "Hi monsieur," they had some issues after moving in together. While we did not. Again, she kept trying to tell me I was mad at him or he was mad at me. Then she wore white to my sister's wedding and bitched to me that there weren't enough vegan options on the canapé platters. And then proceeded to eat all the seafood off the monsieur. If you can eat the seafood, why not put that on your RSVP? My brother used to do that shit to me growing up. Literally hurt me for his own amusement all the time. My parents would always be like, "Boys will be boys," and never stop. "Hi monsieur," that was like 20 years ago and I'm still pissed every time I think about it. I still don't get how it's funny. Sounds like those friends had some serious issues, needing to physically, mentally hurt you to feel superior or something. Glad you got rid of them. When he said he supports pedophilia. Yes, the same happened to me in HS. I never talked to that guy again, because not only he supported pedophilia, but also tried to convince me that it's normal, stating that if you could support a guy liking a guy, why can't you support a guy liking a child? Quote, that's trying to equate a man being very close to a child the same way a man to a male best friend. At best, which I can kinda understand, but equating homosexuality to pedophilia at worst, which is insanely offensive and hurtful, even if he didn't realize it. My roommate at the time texted me while I was at my grandma's funeral asking if it was okay if he could hook up with the girl I just ended things with. It wasn't that he wanted to sleep with her, but more why ask me while I am about to watch my grandma be buried. Did he know that my grandma was dead? Yes, he was my roommate. I'm still so mad about this, but I was in one of the worst situations of my life about a year ago. I was friends with these 2 guys who I considered to be good friends. At the time, we were at school together and my home life was super hostile. My dad was an alcoholic and my mom and my siblings and I were planning on fleeing our house. Obviously, I was not in a good place while seeing my family fall apart. I told all my friends the situation and most of them were great and offered to help me in any way possible. However, when I told my 2 guy friends about it, they did not give 2 shits. All they said was that sucks and never checked up on me or wanted to see how I was doing. The one guy invited me to a party which I refused and called him out on being a terrible friend. He responded with, "You're a horrible person. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I hope you figure it out." Guess what? I did figure it out. I figured out I had two asshole friends which I dropped immediately. So glad I did, cause I know now I only have people who truly care about me sharing great moments in my life. Yeah, fuck those guys, dude. And it's in times like that when you really know who's really there for you and who isn't. You don't need people like that in your life. Oh, and I hope you and your family are at a better place now. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.